Okay, so looking at the Mid-Tudor crisis and the powers of the monarchy, just to give us an overview. The death of Henry VIII in January 1547 brought his son, 9-year-old Edward, to the throne. Within days of Henry's death, his instructions that the country should be ruled by a regency council had been ignored. The Duke of Somerset had been made Lord Protector by the council. Somerset ruled the country using the dry stamp and issuing proclamations, and was not based at court but at his home, Somerset House. In effect, his rule was autocratic, and this angered many of the other councillors. The situation got quite quickly worse, with a series of riots and rebellions across much of the Midlands and southern England in the summer of 1549. He was unable to control the unrest, and he relied heavily on the Earl of Warwick, later the Duke of Northumberland, to crush the most serious rebellions. These events weakened his hold on power. He even retreated. Firstly, he retreated to Hampton Court and then to Windsor Castle with Edward. He tried to raise support, but his opponents accused him of rousing the Commons and kidnapping the king, and a few days later Somerset surrendered. Then, during the autumn and early winter of 1549-50, a power struggle followed. It was between the Catholics on the council and between Northumberland. He was unable to defeat the Catholics and dismissed their leaders from court. This gave Northumberland control of the Privy Council, and he became its Lord President. Northumberland tried to reconcile Somerset, and he even actually brought him back to the court, but Somerset continued to plot, and therefore in 1552 Northumberland had him executed. Northumberland's rule appeared to bring greater stability to the country. There was no major outbreaks or unrest. However, Northumberland's position was threatened. In early 1553, Edward's health began to decline, and so this quickly followed by an attempt to alter the succession and prevent his sister, the Catholic Mary Tudor, from acceding to the throne. Northumberland's son, Dudley, was married to Lady Jane Grey, and the plan that was drawn up declared Mary and Elizabeth illegitimate. This named the male descendants of Lady Jane Grey as heirs, but Edward's sudden death meant that there were no male heirs. Instead, the throne passed to Lady Jane Grey. Mary obviously did not accept the situation. She fled to East Anglia and raised a force, and for a while it appeared that England might lurch into a civil war. However, Northumberland's forces sent against Mary deserted him, and he was forced to surrender. Lady Jane Grey had only lasted for 9 days. Although Mary's accession was greeted with popular celebrations, it was not long before unrest developed. As a female, it was expected that she would marry, but her choice of Philip of Spain resulted in Wyatt's rebellion in January 1554. This rebellion came close to toppling Mary. It got as far as Ludgate in London. However, after the rebellion was defeated, Mary faced no other challenges to her position. Although there was some disquiet concerning her religious policies and the burning of Protestants. Despite her marriage, Mary was unable to produce an heir, having 2 phantom pregnancies in 54 and 57. She altered her will in March 1558 to exclude all but her own children from succession, but she recognised that she was dying, and reluctantly she recognised that her half-sister Elizabeth was heir, with the proviso that she kept England Catholic. Elizabeth didn't agree to this, but when Mary died in November 1558, the throne passed peacefully over to Elizabeth. So what I would expect you to do now would be to think about what we've just what you've just looked at, what you've taken notes on, and think about those concepts at the bottom, so causation, chains, continuity, similarity, difference, and significance over time, and potentially try and compare that to the powers of Elizabeth, Henry VII, and Henry VIII.